777, aka Diz, and this is The Force Always.
Okay, so welcome to the news of Star Wars ETC again. Let's get right into it. This week it's going to be an unusual episode because it's going to be all about my most anticipated film, which I picked for this year, which is Creed 2. Creed 2 is now out in Australia. It was released technically yesterday, in America about a week ago, but I'll be giving you a review of that later in the show, so hold on. My second most anticipated film was Solo, and Solo, to be honest, met my expectations. It got a good rating. I know some of you out there didn't like it or thought it was mediocre, but I thought it was really good. But anyway, Creed 2 to review a bit later on the show. So let's get on to some real Star Wars news. Rebels final season 4 is now out in Australia, finally, about 2 or 3 months after the release in America. My goodness, finally it is here. It's on Blu-ray, DVD, it's ready to rock, so check that out. Rocking the Force always. You got to love anything with Star Wars that comes out, but you got to also know what's good and bad, and Rebels is one of those, let's say, stories that has good and bad, generally good. But the only thing with this DVD I've got to say is that the accessing the features is not there. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'll, recheck that again. But, I could not access the features, which was, it's a very big thing, especially having a Blu-ray DVD. But anyway, that's out now in Australia, finally. Rebels Season 4. Rebels is an animation Star Wars series set just before the whole original movie, which is A New Hope. And check it out now. To more news, Star Wars Celebration crew application is now open. Yes, crew application is now open. It will be, the deadline is February 6th, so you want to check that one out through StarWarsCelebration.com. At the moment, I'm sure they'll be going to an app soon enough, but when, I don't know. I'll give you the news on that. To more news about Star Wars Celebration, the press application is now open. Finally, it was meant to be open about a month ago, my goodness, around a month ago. But the deadline for that is February 22nd. That's right, February 22nd. Get your applications in for the press application for Star Wars Celebration. And speaking of Star Wars Celebration, it is fastly approaching, about 130-ish days. My goodness, it's crazy. For any of the latest news with Star Wars Celebration, just check this channel out. I'm here on a weekly basis. But anyway, so that's the news for this time around. Let's get into the views. Views is not about how many people get views on their YouTube channel, including mine, and it's not about predictions. It's just my story ideas. Now, recently we got the whole Diego Luna, TV series coming next year on Disney Plus next year. The events around Rogue One period. The main actor for that film in Rogue One, he's going to get a TV series. Now, I was thinking a really good way of telling the Obi-Wan story in a sort of side story, because I'm not one that wants a Obi-Wan film. Look, I think it'll be good. I'll check it out. I'm just not super excited for it, but there's a partial excitement. I just think it's a little bit dry. Obviously, he was on Tatooine at that time in the Rogue One period, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that is. But I'm not overly excited for that film. But I think telling the story of Obi-Wan with that Diego Luna, I can't remember which way to put his name. My goodness, he's fairly new in my mind. So telling the Obi-Wan story via that TV series, the live action TV series, would be a really good idea as a side story. So that's sort of pretty much it for views this time around. It's just my basic idea, having the Obi-Wan story told via that TV series that's coming out next year on Disney Plus. Anyway, that's the views for this time around. Now let's get into the reviews. I'm actually now going to take it from the premiere last night. So here is the reviews for Creed 2. Okay, welcome to the reviews part of The Force Always. I've just seen Creed 2. I'm going to give it a 6.7 out of 10. I think there was way too much R&B hip-hop music. I love hip-hop music, and I think the music was lacking as well in other types of music, especially emotional type music. The story is more of a love story than a fighting movie. There's similar beats, but it just doesn't really capture like Rocky 4 did. Creed 2, I give 6.7 out of 10. It was okay. I wasn't overwhelmed. Rocky 4 was definitely amazing. Creed 2 is okay. That's my review for this time, coming straight out of checking Creed 2. Okay, so that was last night at Creed 2. Let's get into the interviews. That's too cute. That's 2 questions where I'll ask myself for you guys to know some things. What can Star Wars learn from Creed 2, the story ideas, any input of the story? What can they learn? Having a love story is essential to pretty much an action story. I think it's a really strong ingredient to have in any sort. It just needs to not be too soppy, as you're sort of soppy in a way of you're dealing with, you know, guys here watching the majority of Star Wars type films. You know, there is many ladies out there that love it, but I find personally where I'm from, a lot more guys are into it. I think the love story component is essential in that story of Creed 2, which I thought was really good. In Creed 2, it was probably a bit too dominant for the type of story, but I think having it within Star Wars, especially Episode 9, is going to really give an emotional end. That's what I think would be great. That's what Star Wars can learn from Creed 2. But what can they not learn from Creed 2? Creed 2, biggest criticism, as I sort of expressed a little, is the soundtrack was just not emphasized enough. And when they did go to the soundtrack, it was just way too much R&B hip-hop sort of feel. I love hip-hop. The R&B hip-hop sort of thing, it's okay for me, but I love hip-hop. I love that sort of sound. I love the feel, the genre, everything. It sort of suits a Rocky film, but it made the film a bit too shallow. And having a strong soundtrack, especially, it doesn't have to be symphonic, I think, for Rocky or Creed, but it just needs to have real strong music driving the story. And a lot of the film in Creed 2 just did not have music driving it. It had it in nice little points, but just not enough to drive the story a bit stronger. So I think Star Wars can learn that, you know, keeping a good, strong soundtrack is important. So anyway, that's my questions for this week, for the interview 2Q sort of feel this week. Please subscribe to the channel. The Force Always, we're here on a weekly basis, giving you this news, views, reviews and interviews of all sorts. And you know, go over to patreon.com. You can be a patron of mine. Just, you know, patreon.com/The Force Always. Like, share this video wherever you can. And until next time, keep rocking.